join you here today. And I have been so proud to work alongside so many of you in this room throughout my time in public service. But I have to say that it is with heartfelt thanks that I join you here today as your United States Senator. First off, I'd like to ask everyone to join me in thanking Ed Darby. Leadership in bringing progressives together for Fightin Bob Fest since 2002. You know, we joined together to pay tribute to Ed's commitment to advancing our progressive values and giving all of us an opportunity each year to renew our commitment to doing the same. So please join me in another round of applause. Now, I stand here today, first and foremost, to thank you all for your friendship, your engagement, and for your commitment to fight for the progressive values that we share and that have defined our state. I also come here today to address the struggles of the middle class and the growing divide between rich and poor. And I will do that. But before I do, I must acknowledge a matter that I know is on your minds, as well as the minds of all Wisconsinites, and that is Syria. Where a civil war rages on, and where too many have lost their lives, including more than 1,400 in a chemical weapons attack just over 2 weeks ago. You know that I have always taken matters of war and peace very seriously, and I've always been a strong advocate of exhausting all other measures before going to war or using our military might. And I am proud of my record. I have served in the United States Congress under 3 presidents, and so far I have opposed military action undertaken by each of them. Airstrikes in Congo under President Clinton, war in Iraq under the Bush administration, and use of military force in Libya during the Obama administration. I was one of the earliest proponents of the war in Iraq. As Congress considered authorization of the Iraq War, I posed a number of specific questions to President Bush, and he failed to answer them. I strongly opposed that war. Authorizing it was a tragic mistake, and we must never make that mistake again. Now, as we consider acting in response to the use of chemical weapons in Syria, I am again asking tough questions of President Obama. And I am demanding clear and substantiated answers. And I am also gaining important insights from others. I traveled to Turkey earlier this year and met with war refugees on the Syrian border. I participated in classified briefings on Capitol Hill and at the White House. And I've heard the voices of thousands of Wisconsinites. The gravity of the issues before us are so significant, and they deserve a full debate. I support having that debate, and I'll be an active participant in it. President Obama's decision to come to Congress on this issue was the right one. We must demand that of all presidents, not just our current president, to come to Congress to get approval before taking military action. There is reason why so many scholars and analysts have written that there are no good options in Syria. It's because there are no good options. The use of chemical weapons is a global atrocity and demands a global response. The various treaties and conventions addressing these issues have been ratified by most of the world's nations. And therefore, devising what will be a precedent-setting response to their violation demands that the world's nations engage in this discussion. America must not act alone. We must engage a larger, broader international community on this, and thus far I do not believe that that has happened. Now, this wouldn't be Fightin Bob Fest if we didn't take a moment to ask WWBD, what would Bob do? So let me read a brief excerpt from Fightin Bob's floor speech on the eve of his vote on our entry into World War I nearly a century ago. He starts with Mr. President, and he's addressing the President of the Senate, not the President of the United States. And he says, I had supposed until recently that it was the duty of senators and representatives in Congress to vote and act according to their convictions on all public matters that came before them for consideration and decision. Quite another doctrine has recently been pronounced by certain newspapers, which unfortunately seems to have the profound, considerable support elsewhere. And that is the doctrine of, quote, standing back of the president, without inquiring the president whether the president is right or wrong. For myself, I have never subscribed to that doctrine and never shall. I shall support the president in measures he proposes when I believe them to be right. And I shall oppose measures proposed by the president when I believe them to be wrong. The fact of the matter which the president submits for consideration is of the greatest importance is only additional reason why we should be sure we are right and not be swerved from that conviction or intimidating in its expression in any influence of its power whatsoever. He goes on to say, it is important for us to speak and vote our convictions in matters of internal policy, though we may unfortunately be in disagreement with this president. It is infinitely more important for us to speak and vote our convictions when the question is one of war and peace, certain to involve the lives and fortunes of many of our people, and it may be the destiny of all of them and of the civilized world as well. If, unhappily, on such momentous questions, the most patient research and conscientious consideration we could give them leave us in disagreement with the president, I know no course to take except to oppose, regretfully, but not less firmly, the demands of the executive. Albeit a century ago, Bob always has some good counsel. I want you to know that I have heard your voices. I share your concerns. And this is an issue that deserves deep, deep consideration and thorough review. And I will continue to ask those tough questions. I will continue to press for answers. And I will continue to listen and to represent our shared values in Washington. And we have many shared progressive values. Earlier this summer, we celebrated Wisconsin's 165th birthday. And throughout our history, progressives have fought for the same values that bring us together this weekend. Values defined by an understanding that the people of Wisconsin take pride in hard work and believe that we have...
Let us down. We can't hear her. Sit down. Let us
celebrated Wisconsin's 165th birthday. And throughout our history, progressives have fought for the same progressive values that bring us together this weekend. Values defined by understanding that people of Wisconsin take pride in hard work and believe that hard work should be rewarded.
It's kind of like a Republican tag.
I'm just going to spend about 20 seconds here saying this. I am a Tammy Baldwin Democrat, and I know that she's going to do the best job in Washington.
Okay, so 16 minutes left.
We understand that the people of Wisconsin hold a deep commitment to community, neighbor helping neighbor. We believe that we're in it together. These are the ideals that we give voice to every day, and this weekend, let's renew our commitment to giving them a voice.